Tom was a man who lived a simple but rich life. He was in his 50s, successful and respected in his city. He owned a big company, had a beautiful house, and drove a shiny black BMW. Every day was the same: business meetings, phone calls, and dinner alone. His life was quiet, almost boring. One evening, after a long day at work, Tom got into his car. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and gold. He turned on the radio, leaned back in his leather seat, and started driving home. Everything felt normal until he stopped at a red light. A black car pulled up beside him. It was old, not dirty, but not clean either. Tom glanced at it without much thought. Just another car, just another driver. He turned his head slightly, just for a second, and saw the man behind the wheel. A black man. Calm. Serious. Wearing dark clothes. The man looked back at Tom just once, and then looked straight ahead, again. Tom didn't think much of it. The light turned green and he drove off. But something felt strange. After 2 turns, the same black car was still behind him. Tom looked into his mirror. Maybe he's going the same way, he thought. No big deal. But 5 minutes passed, then 10. The car didn't turn. It didn't change lanes. It stayed close, not too close, but close enough to be noticed. Tom's hands tightened. On the steering wheel. Is he following me? He asked himself. He changed lanes suddenly. The black car did the same. He slowed down. The black car slowed down too. Tom's heart started beating faster. His mouth felt dry. He looked around. The road was quiet. No police, no people. Just trees, silence, and the black car. Tom turned left into a street he never used. The black car followed. He turned right, then another right, then left again. A full circle. The car was still there. Okay, Tom whispered. This is not normal. He picked up his phone, but there was no signal. The street he had turned into had poor reception. Big trees blocked the towers. He tried to calm himself, but his mind was racing. Why me? Who is he? What does he want? Suddenly, he slammed on the brakes. The black car also stopped, but at a distance. Tom got out of his car slowly, leaving the engine running. His breath was heavy. His heart was pounding. He walked a few steps toward the black car. The door of the black car opened. Out stepped the man, tall, strong, silent. His clothes were simple: black pants, black jacket, black boots. He had no smile, no fear. His eyes were sharp like a soldier's. Tom took a step back. The man walked toward him slowly. Then he spoke. "Mr. Tom Harrison?" the man asked, his voice deep but calm. Tom nodded. "Yes. Who are you? Why are you following me?" The man stood straight. "My name is Marcus. I need to talk to you. It's about your father." Tom froze. "My father? What about him? He died 20 years ago." Marcus shook his head. "No, sir, he didn't just die. There are things you don't know, things he never told you." Tom narrowed his eyes. "What are you talking about? My father was just a farmer, a quiet man. He raised me alone after my mother died. He lived a simple life." Marcus looked directly into Tom's eyes. "That's what you were told. But your father was not a simple man. He saved my life. He trained me. And he led something powerful. Now that he's gone, it's time you knew the truth." Tom laughed nervously. "This is crazy. Are you trying to scare me? Is this a joke?" Marcus stepped closer and said something that made Tom go completely silent. "They're coming for you. And I'm here to protect you. Just like he protected us." Before Tom could reply, Marcus reached into his coat. Tom jumped back, scared, but Marcus slowly pulled out a small, folded piece of paper. It was old, torn. Tom took it with shaky hands. He unfolded it. It was a picture of his father. but not the way he remembered him. In the photo, his father was wearing military clothes. Standing next to him was a younger Marcus, and behind them, a group of men in black uniforms standing like soldiers, all of them holding weapons. Tom's mouth dropped open. "What is this?" he whispered. Marcus said calmly, "It's the truth." Suddenly they both heard something. Engines. 4 black SUVs appeared at the end of the street. Tom turned in fear. "Who are they?" Marcus narrowed his eyes. "We don't have time. Get in your car. Follow me. I'll explain everything later." Tom hesitated. "But," Marcus looked him straight in the eyes, "if you want to live, drive now." Without waiting, Marcus ran to his car, started the engine, and sped off. Tom stood frozen for one more second. Then he ran back to his BMW, jumped in, and followed. His heart was racing. Nothing made sense. Who was this man? Who were those cars? And most of all, what secret had his father taken to the grave? Tom followed the black car through quiet roads, still shaking. His hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, and his mind was full of questions. Who was Marcus? Why did he have a photo of Tom's father in military clothes? And who were the people in the black SUVs? His father, James Harrison, had always been a simple man. He grew vegetables, fixed tractors, and read books by the fireplace. He never raised his voice, never mentioned war, never talked about the past. Tom thought he knew everything about him. But now he wasn't so sure. Marcus drove fast but carefully. After a few minutes, they reached an old warehouse on the edge of town. It looked empty, broken, forgotten. Weeds grew around it. Windows were covered with dust. Marcus parked inside. Tom followed. As the big door closed behind them, Marcus stepped out and waited. Tom got out slowly. "All right," he said, still out of breath. "I'm here. Start talking." Marcus walked to a table in the center of the room. On it were old files, maps, and photos. He pointed to one. "Your father wasn't just a farmer. He was a protector, a leader." Tom looked at the photo. It showed a group of men standing in a jungle. His father was in the middle, younger, but with the same eyes. Strong, calm, wise. He was holding a rifle. Tom whispered, "This can't be real." Marcus nodded. "It is. I was only 16 when I met him. My village was under attack. Rebels were burning homes, killing people. No one came to help until your father." Tom sat down slowly, trying to understand. "He led a secret unit," Marcus continued. "Not part of the army, not in the news. They didn't wear flags or medals, but they saved lives. Quietly, risking everything." Tom looked up. "Why didn't he tell me?" Marcus smiled sadly. "Because he wanted to protect you. He wanted you to grow up in peace, away from danger. If people knew who he was, you would have been hunted." Tom thought back. His father never liked cameras, never joined town events. He always said, "The world doesn't need to see everything." Now, it made sense. Marcus picked up a letter and handed it to Tom. "This is from him. He gave it to me years ago, told me to give it to you when the time was right." Tom's hands shook as he opened the envelope. It was his father's handwriting. "My dear son, if you are reading this, then the past has returned. There are things I never told you, not because I didn't trust you, but because I loved you. I was once part of a mission, a fight to protect the helpless. It cost me friends, peace, and almost my life, but we won for a while. Now, that danger is rising again, and I'm sorry, son, but they may come for you. I asked Marcus to watch over you. Trust him. He is not just a soldier. He is family. If you choose to walk away, I understand. But if you choose to stand, then be ready. You have my blood. You have my strength. You are more than you know. Tears formed in Tom's eyes. He closed the letter and held it close. Marcus put a hand on his shoulder. Your father saved my life. More than once. Everything I have I owe to him. That's why I've been watching you, keeping you safe. Tom looked up. How long have you been watching? Me, Marcus replied. Since the day he died. We kept the shadows away. But now, they're coming closer. Tom took a deep breath. Who are they? Marcus's face turned serious. They call themselves the Order, a secret group with one goal, total control. They don't care who gets hurt. Your father stopped them once. That's why they hated him. That's why they fear you. Tom stood up. But I'm not him. No, Marcus said. But you carry his legacy, his mind, his heart. Tom paced the room. So what now? Do I hide? Fight? What do you expect from me? Marcus walked to a wall and pressed a hidden switch. A metal door opened, revealing a small room filled with gear, radios, files, maps with red markings. He turned to Tom. I expect nothing, but I offer you a choice. Tom walked closer, staring at the maps. Places he recognized, places he didn't. Marcus continued, You can go back to your life, forget all this. We'll try to keep protecting you, or you can learn what your father knew. Train. Help us stop them for good. Tom didn't answer. He was too overwhelmed. Marcus reached into a drawer and pulled out a photo. One Tom had never seen. It was him, as a child, sitting on his father's lap, but behind them, barely visible in the shadows, was Marcus, young, alert, watching. You've been there all along? Tom asked. Marcus nodded. Always. Tom sat down again, head in his hands. For years, he thought his life was boring, normal, quiet. Now, it felt like the opening chapter of a secret story. He looked back at the letter, at his father's words, at Marcus. Tom didn't sleep that night. He sat in a quiet corner of the warehouse, his father's letter in his hands, reading it over and over again. The words felt heavy. The truth was still sinking in. His father, the quiet, gentle man who grew tomatoes and fixed bicycles, had once led a secret army, and now, years later, the enemy he once stopped was back. At sunrise, Marcus walked in holding 2 cups of black coffee. He placed one beside Tom. You didn't sleep, Marcus said, sitting across from him. Tom gave a tired smile. You either. Marcus nodded. No time for rest. They move quickly, and they never stop. Tom looked up. Tell me everything. Who are they? What do they want? Marcus leaned forward. They're called the Order. They don't work for any country. No flags, no laws, just power. They live in shadows, control things from behind closed doors. Governments, companies, even police. Tom frowned. But why my father? Because he was the only one who stood in their way, Marcus said. He found out what they were planning, and he stopped them, not with politics or speeches, but with action. Tom shook his head. I don't get it. Why not go public? Why not expose them? Marcus's face turned serious. Because no one would believe it. They control everything, even the news. If you speak out, you disappear, just like others before. Tom leaned back. And now they want me? Marcus looked him in the eye. Yes, not just because you're his son, but because they think you might rise like he did. You're a threat, even if you don't know it yet. Tom thought for a moment. You said my father led a group. What happened to them? Marcus looked down. Some are gone. Some still fight, scattered across the world. A few are waiting. waiting for a sign that it's time to stand again. Tom asked, "How do we find them?" Marcus smiled. "We don't. They'll find us once they know you've accepted the path." Tom stood up. He walked to the wall where maps and files were pinned. He stared at them. Red marks, circles, names. "What are these?" he asked. "Places where the order operates. Safe houses, labs, offices. We've been tracking them for years." Tom's eyes stopped at one name. Ravenshade. "What's this one?" Marcus sighed. "Their main base. Deep in the mountains. Protected. Hidden. That's where their leader stays." Tom turned. "Leader?" Marcus nodded. "He calls himself Cain. No real name. No photo. But he's the one who gave the order to kill your father." A chill went down Tom's spine. Suddenly, an alarm rang. Marcus stood instantly. "Motion sensors. Someone's outside." He handed Tom a small radio and whispered, "Stay low. Don't move unless I say." Tom's heart raced as Marcus walked to the monitors. 3 figures appeared on screen, men in black suits, wearing earpieces, scanning the area. Tom whispered, "Them?" Marcus nodded. "Scouts, checking to see if you're alone. If they find us." He didn't finish the sentence. He pressed a button, and a hidden panel in the floor opened. "Down. Now." Tom crawled into the hidden space. Marcus followed, and the panel closed just as the front door was kicked open. Tom held his breath. Could hear footsteps, voices. They were inside. One voice said, "He's close." "The tracker doesn't lie." Another said, "Should we call Cain?" "No, not yet. Let's find him first." Tom looked at Marcus. He was calm, focused. They waited in silence for what felt like forever. Then, the footsteps faded. After 15 long minutes, Marcus opened the panel and climbed out. Tom followed. "They're gone." "For now," Marcus said. Tom stood up, angry now. "How did they track me?" Marcus walked to a drawer, pulled out Tom's phone, and smashed it with a hammer. "Your phone. They planted something. From now on, no tech, no signals, just trust and instinct." Tom looked around. "So what now?" Marcus replied, "Now, we gather the others." Later that day, they drove into the countryside, far from cities and signals. They stopped at an old farmhouse. Quiet, empty, peaceful. But underneath there was something else, a hidden tunnel. Inside, lights flickered on, revealing a training base. Men and women in black clothes stood in line, waiting. Some looked like soldiers, some looked like farmers. But all had one thing in common. They respected Marcus. And now, they turned to see Tom. Marcus spoke loud and clear. "This is Tom Harrison, the son of the man who once saved us all. He has chosen to walk the same path." Silence. Then one by one they stepped forward. Each one gave a salute, not to Marcus, to Tom. Tom stood still. He didn't know what to say. He felt small, unsure. But deep inside something stirred. A fire. Calling. He nodded slowly, accepting their respect, not because he deserved it yet, but because he would earn it. Marcus stepped beside him and whispered, "The Order has no idea what's." Tom stood in the middle of the underground base, surrounded by people he had just met, people who once followed his father and now looked at him with hope. He didn't feel ready. He didn't feel like a leader, but there was no turning back now. Over the next few days, Marcus trained him hard. No soft words, no easy tasks. Every morning before sunrise, Tom ran 5 miles. He learned how to fight hand to hand, how to shoot, how to think like a soldier. His hands were bruised, his legs ached. But every time he wanted to quit, he remembered his father's words, "You are more than you know." And so, Tom kept going. One night, Tom sat alone, wiping sweat from his face after training. Marcus walked in, holding a small device. "They found us," he said. Tom looked up, heart racing. How? We don't know. Maybe they followed one of the others. Doesn't matter now. They're coming, fast. Tom stood up. How much? Time? Maybe an hour. 2, if we're lucky. The entire base moved like lightning. Doors were locked, weapons were checked, plans were whispered. Tom stood with Marcus near a table, watching red dots blink on a screen. 10 vehicles, Marcus said. They're not here to talk. Tom looked around. We're not ready. No, Marcus replied, but we'll fight anyway. Later, that night, the sky outside was dark. No stars, no moon, just silence. Then, lights, engines. The sound of tires crushing gravel. They were here. Black SUVs stopped at the edge of the forest, near the hidden base. Tom and the team watched from cameras. They'll find the entrance soon, Marcus said. We need to move. He handed Tom a weapon. Tom stared at it. His hands shook. You don't have to use it unless it's life or death, Marcus said calmly. But you need to be ready. Tom took a deep breath and nodded. The ground shook as a loud boom echoed. The enemy had found the gate and blasted it open. We hold them at the tunnels, Marcus ordered. The team spread out. Tom followed Marcus into the narrow tunnel, lit only by red lights. The air was cold, heavy. Then, footsteps, shadows appeared. The order's soldiers, all dressed in black, faces covered, weapons ready. The fight began. Marcus moved like water, fast and powerful. Every punch, every move was perfect. Tom stayed behind cover, helping where he could. He wasn't perfect, but he didn't run. He fired when needed. He yelled warnings. He pulled one teammate to safety when they were shot in the leg. The sounds of gunfire and shouting echoed through the tunnels. Tom's heart beat like a drum. But then, he saw him. A man taller than the others, not wearing a mask, cold eyes, calm, smiling. Kane. Tom froze. He recognized him from the old photos Marcus had shown him. Kane raised his hand, and his men stopped fighting. Tom Harrison, he said, in a cold, slow voice. Just like your father, standing in my way. Tom didn't speak. Kane stepped forward. Tell me, he said, why die for people you barely know? Why follow a dead man's path? Tom swallowed. Because he saved lives, because you destroy them, Kane smiled. Still young, still foolish. He raised his hand again. His men aimed their weapons. Tom braced himself. Then, boom! A huge explosion rocked the tunnel from behind. Smoke and dust filled the air. Kane turned. Marcus had set off a trap, a hidden bomb in the wall. Kane and his men were thrown back. Move! Marcus shouted. Tom grabbed his teammate and ran. They escaped into the side tunnels as the main entrance collapsed behind them. The base was damaged, but not destroyed. They survived. After the battle, the sun rose slowly. Tom stood outside the broken gate, looking at the trees. Some of the team were hurt. One man didn't make it, but they had stopped the order. For now. Marcus walked up beside him. You did well, he said quietly. Tom shook his head. I was scared. I almost froze. But you didn't, Marcus replied. You faced Kane. That matters. Tom looked down. He's not afraid of me. He doesn't think I'm a threat. Marcus placed a hand on Tom's shoulder. Good, he said. That's his mistake. Tom looked up, eyes filled with fire. I want to learn more, not just to protect myself, but to finish what my father started. Marcus smiled. Then it's time we stop hiding and start fighting back. Coming. The base was quiet now. Smoke still rose from the broken walls. Dust floated in the air like ghosts. Some were cleaning, some resting, others sitting alone, silent, shaken. Tom sat outside on a stone, staring at the forest. His hands were bruised, his clothes covered in ash. His heart, still heavy, he had fought. He had survived, but he had also seen Cain, the man who killed his father, face to face, and he had done nothing. Was he strong enough? Would he ever be? Later that day, Marcus found him by the edge of the woods. He handed Tom a small box, wrapped in old cloth. "This was buried beneath the base," Marcus said softly. "We found it while fixing the damage." Tom opened the cloth slowly. The box was wooden, with his father's initials carved into the top. J.H. It looked old, but strong, like the man himself. Tom opened it carefully. Inside was a flash drive, a folded note, and a photograph. The photo was of his father, in uniform, smiling. But this time, someone stood beside him. Tom's heart skipped a beat. It was Cain, young, clean-shaven, wearing the same uniform. They were teammates? Tom whispered. Marcus nodded. Long ago, before Cain turned. Tom opened the note. It was in his father's handwriting. "Tom, if this ever reaches you, then the fight has returned, and so must the truth. There was a time when Cain was my brother in arms, brave, smart, loyal. But greed changed him. He wanted more. Power, control, secrets. He betrayed us. He sold information. He caused deaths. I didn't kill him when I had the chance. I believed he could change. I was wrong. Son, this drive holds everything. Names, locations, the plan they are building. If you're reading this, you must finish what I started. But not with anger, not with hate, with purpose, with heart. I raised you to be kind, not cruel. Brave, not blind. You are not just my son. You are my legacy. Dad." Tom felt tears in his eyes. His hands shook as he stared at the letter. His father had left him a mission and a warning. That night, they plugged the flash drive into a protected computer in the safe room. Marcus and a few trusted members watched closely. What they saw shocked them. Videos, documents, maps, secret plans. The Order had built something called Project Echo, a system designed to control digital communication worldwide. Every phone, every message, every voice, all under their power. If successful, they could control elections, start wars, silence anyone. Marcus stepped back, face pale. "This is bigger than we thought." Tom looked at the screen, then at the others. "This is why my father died," he said quietly. He knew. They traced the final piece of the project, a large server farm hidden in East Haven, a remote place in the mountains. Tom stood. "We destroy it." One of the team members, Maya, spoke up. "It's guarded by private armies, cameras, drones, no way in." Tom's eyes were calm now. "There's always a way. We just have to find it." A voice from the past as they explored more files on the drive. They found one final video file, titled "For Tom." Tom clicked it. The screen flickered. And then his father appeared, older, tired, but smiling. "Hey, kid. If you're seeing this, I guess I'm gone. I wish I could have told you everything face to face, but I wanted you to have a normal life, free from fear. I guess the world didn't let that happen. So listen carefully. You don't need to be like me. You don't need to carry my anger or my mistakes. Just carry my heart. You were always the best part of me, Tom. Better than I ever was. If the world tries to change you, don't let it. Stay good, stay kind, but stay strong. And if you must fight, fight for those who can't. Fight for what's right. I love you, son. Always." Tom wiped his eyes. The room was silent. Even. Marcus looked away, blinking back emotion. The next morning, Tom stood in front of the team, no longer nervous, no longer unsure. He held the photo of his father and Cain. He raised it for everyone to see. This is who Cain was, but not who he is now. He used to protect. Now he destroys. We let him live in shadows for too long. He put the photo down. Project Echo must be stopped. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Maya asked, "Do you have a plan?" Tom smiled. "Not yet, but I have something better. Purpose." Marcus nodded in approval. Tom stepped forward. "We gather intel. We study every inch of East Haven. Then we strike. Quiet, clean, smart." Someone in the back said, "And if we fail?" Tom answered without hesitation. "Then we try again, and again, until we win." The road to East Haven was long and silent. Thick forests, sharp turns, old bridges. No signs of life. Tom sat in the back of the van, dressed in black. His eyes focused, his jaw tight. Beside him, Maya checked her equipment. Marcus drove in front, calm as always. 4 more team members followed, in a second vehicle moving like shadows. They had planned this mission for days. This wasn't a fight. This was a surgical strike. In and out, fast, no mistakes. Their goal, destroy the server base powering Project Echo, cut the head off the snake. But they all knew the truth. Not everyone might return. Reaching the base by nightfall, they reached the edge of a cliff. Below, hidden deep inside the mountain, was the base. Dark steel doors, fences, armed guards, drones in the sky. It didn't look like a normal building. It looked like a fortress. Marcus unfolded a satellite map and pointed. "Main entrance here, guarded. 2 side vents, small, tight. Only 1 or 2 can crawl through." Tom nodded. "We split. Distraction at the gate. I go through the vent with Maya." Maya raised an eyebrow. "You sure?" Tom looked at her. "I need you with me," she smirked. "Good answer." The mission begins at exactly 2 a.m. The power grid flickered. Marcus and the distraction team sent a short EMP blast from the ridge. The lights at the gate blinked. Confusion followed. Guards scrambled. Just as planned, Tom and Maya crawled through the side vent, dirt and dust in their mouths, the metal cold under their hands. It was dark, tight, and silent. Tom whispered, "Almost there." They reached the inner air duct and quietly dropped into a server hallway. The hum of machines filled the space. Rows and rows of blinking lights. This was Project Echo's brain. Tom stared in disbelief. "This is what Kane built." Maya pulled out small charges. "Let's shut it down." Sudden danger. Just as Maya placed the final charge, a voice echoed. "You really think I didn't see this coming?" Tom froze. Kane stepped from the shadows, flanked by 2 soldiers. He wore a dark coat. Calm. Confident. "Hello again, Tom," he said, smiling. Tom stepped forward. "We're ending this tonight." Kane laughed softly. "You sound like your father. Brave, stubborn, naive." Tom clenched his fists. "He trusted you." "Yes," Kane said coldly. "And that's why he died." Maya aimed her weapon. "Back off." Kane raised a hand, and the 2 soldiers lowered their guns. "I'm not here to stop you," he said. Tom blinked. "What?" Kane stepped closer. "This version of the project, it's already outdated, just a backup, a decoy. You destroy it and nothing changes." Tom's heart sank. "All of this for nothing?" Kane continued, "You're not fighting a system. You're fighting an idea, and ideas don't die with wires." Maya looked at Tom. "We plant the charges anyway." Tom nodded. Kane didn't move. He simply walked past them, whispering as he passed. "I'll see you again soon, when it matters." Then he disappeared into the shadows. Tom felt like the air had been punched from his lungs, but he moved, fast. They planted the last charge. The escape. The alarms began to blare. Marcus spoke through the radio. "Guards heading your way. Exit on." "The east side. We'll cover you." Tom and Maya ran through the halls, bullets flying behind them. Tom shot back, clearing the way. They reached the east tunnel, crawling through another vent. Outside, cold wind hit their faces. A rope dropped from the ridge. The team pulled them up, fast. As soon as they reached the top, Marcus pressed a button. Boom! The mountain shook. Flames shot out from the vents. Sparks flew into the sky. The base was gone. They had done it. But something felt wrong. The Costas. They drove away in silence. Marcus counted heads. One missing, Eli. He had stayed behind to slow the guards. Tom's face went pale. He had trained with Eli, laughed with him. Eli had taught him how to aim a rifle. Now, he was gone. Maya placed a hand on Tom's shoulder. He saved us. Tom nodded slowly, holding back tears. He deserved better. Marcus said quietly, "This is war, Tom. Good people fall. That's why we must win." Back at base, when they returned, the team was silent, not joyful, not celebrating. They had completed the mission, but the cost was heavy. Tom walked into the room alone. He stared at the map on the wall, pictures of the Order, Kane, Project Echo. Then he drew a red X over East Haven, one battle down. Many more to come. But he was different now, stronger. Not because he had won, but because he had survived the fire and came out still standing. The news spread faster than fire, all over the world. Screens lit up with the same message. Emergency broadcast, please stand by. Then, silence. No music, no commercials. Just a black screen. Then a voice. Kane. A message to the world, Kane, appeared. On every device. Phones, TVs, billboards. He wore a dark suit, his eyes calm, his tone steady. People of the world, for years you've been lied to, watched, controlled, tracked. Your leaders speak of freedom, but they own your data. Your voice, your mind. That ends now. My name is Kane, and I offer you a new system, not based on lies, but order. No more secrets, no more confusion, one world, one rule, one future. Behind him, a logo appeared. Echo Prime. A new version of the same project Tom thought he had destroyed. Kane continued. Those who resist will be silenced. Those who join will thrive. You have 72 hours. Choose wisely. Then the screens went black. The world fell into chaos. Back at the base, Tom watched the broadcast. From the war room, Maya paced behind him. Marcus stood silent. No wonder he let us go, Tom whispered. It was a setup. Marcus nodded. The East Haven base was just a distraction. While we hid it, he built something even bigger. Tom clenched his fists. And now he's using it to take over the world. Maya spoke, her voice low. He said 72 hours. What do we do? Tom stood. We stopped the broadcast at the source. The final plan, they discovered Echo Prime's true location, hidden under the city of Helios inside an old satellite tower. It used multiple satellites to spread the signal worldwide. If they destroyed the core transmitter, Kane would lose control. The world would wake up. But the place was guarded like a military base, more than just soldiers. It had drones, traps, facial scanners. Only someone with Kane's voice print could enter. The core room. Tom stared at the files. I'll go in alone. Marcus turned sharply. That's suicide. Tom looked him in the eyes. We don't have time for safe plans. Maya stepped forward. Then I'm going with you. Infiltration. The night before the 72-hour deadline, Tom and Maya reached the tower disguised as tech engineers. They wore stolen ID badges and carried fake equipment. The guards let them pass. For now, inside, everything was steel and glass. Large screens showed maps of the world, red zones, targets. Kane wasn't just planning a broadcast. He was preparing for global control. Banks, governments, everything. They reached the core floor. Massive steel door blocked the way. Voice required, said a robotic voice. Tom placed a small device near the speaker. It played a perfect recording of Kane's voice from the earlier broadcast. The door clicked. It opened. Face to face. Again, inside the core room, servers glowed like fireflies. At the center, Kane, waiting, calm. He turned slowly. "I knew you'd come, Tom." Tom raised his weapon. "This ends now." Kane didn't move. "You still think this is about control?" "It's not. It's about peace, order. The world is broken." "You're breaking it more," Tom said. Kane shook his head. "Your father thought he could change things through kindness. He died a fool." Tom stepped closer. "He died a hero. And I won't let you turn the world into your machine." Kane sighed. "Then you've made your choice." He pressed a button. Alarms blared, doors locked. Time was running out. The sacrifice Maya ran to the server. "There's a self-destruct option," she said. "But it needs someone to stay behind and trigger it manually." Tom looked at her. "No, we find another way." "There is no other way," she said, tears in her eyes. Kane laughed in the background. "You see? Even in your fight, you must sacrifice the ones you love." Tom raised the gun and shot the panel beside Kane, sparking wires and shutting him down, not killing him, but stopping his access. Then, Tom turned to Maya. "I'm staying." Maya shook her head, panicking. "No, you can't." Tom placed his hand on hers. "My father gave his life for the world. This is my turn." Tears streamed down her face. "Please." He smiled softly. "The world needs people like you, not like me." He kissed her forehead and gently pushed her toward the exit. "I'll trigger the blast when you're clear." The world watches as Maya escaped. The tower lit up. People around the world saw their screens flicker again, but this time the message was different. A final video, recorded by Tom, played. "If you're seeing this, Echo Prime is no more. I was just one man, one voice, but so was Kane. The difference is, I believed in people, in freedom, in truth. Let this be a reminder, we must protect the light, even when it costs everything. Stay kind, stay strong, stay human." Then, silence, and the tower exploded. A massive light rose over the city. The signal was gone. Aftermath news outlets exploded with reports. Broadcast shut down. Kane captured. Mystery hero saves the world. People everywhere lit candles, shared Tom's message, and spoke his name. Maya returned to the team with tears and hope. Marcus placed Tom's father's photo next to a new one, of Tom. The world had changed, not because of weapons, not because of fear, but because one man believed in doing what was right, no matter the cost. 1 month after the explosion, the world was no longer the same. The skies were clearer. The screens were free. The fear that once gripped the cities had faded. But Tom Harrison was gone. A world in mourning. In cities across the globe, people gathered in silence. Not for a concert. Not for a protest. For a man they never met, but whose voice they all heard. Tom had become a symbol of bravery, of truth, of hope. In schools, teachers told his story. In homes, parents played his final message to their children. A statue was built in the center of the Capitol, a figure standing tall, hand raised, eyes calm. On the base, just one line. One man, one choice, one world. Maya's mission. Maya didn't disappear. She didn't break. She built. She gathered Tom's old team, piece by piece. Marcus, Riley, Jordan, the survivors. They started something new. The Harrison Initiative. Not a rebellion. Not a war machine, but a watchdog. To make sure what happened with Kane never happened again. They trained others. Spoke at world summits. Even old enemies came forward to help. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was growing. Kane's trial. Kane was captured alive after the blast. He was locked away in a private prison under international control. At his trial, he stood silent as world leaders read the charges. Mass surveillance, global manipulation. Threats to human freedom. When asked to speak, he said only this: "You stopped a system, but not the idea. Order will always return." But this time, no one clapped. No one followed him. His empire was dust, and his words meaningless. A letter from the past one morning, Maya received a package. No name, no return address. Inside was a small flash drive. She plugged it into her laptop and saw just one file. For Maya, from Tom. Her hands trembled. She clicked it. Tom's face appeared on screen, recorded weeks before the final mission. He smiled nervously. "Hey, if you're seeing this, I guess I didn't make it, and I'm sorry. I wanted to build a life with you, but some stories aren't about happy endings. They're about purpose. And you, Maya, you gave me mine." She covered her mouth, tears falling fast. "I need you to do something. Keep fighting, but not with anger. Fight with hope, with kindness. Show the world that we don't need someone watching us to be good. We just need someone to believe in us." The screen faded. Maya sat for a long time, just breathing. Then she stood up and kept going. A New Generation 5. Years later, a small boy sat in a school library, holding a children's book. The title, Tom in the Tower. The teacher leaned down. "Do you know who that is?" The boy nodded. "My mom says he saved the world." The teacher smiled. "She's right." In the back of the room, Maya watched with quiet eyes. She had written that book, not with big words or battles, but with truth. Tom had become a story, a lesson, a light, and the new generation was learning. One last message. One day, the Harrison team launched their own global network, encrypted, safe, open. The first message they broadcast? Not a warning, not a command, but Tom's final quote, written across the sky by thousands of drones. "Stay kind, stay strong, stay human." And the world stood still, looking up, remembering, choosing light over shadow.